Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to show you how to run Start9 on your Mac. And you might be thinking like, I can even do that? And the answer is yes. You can run StartOS on your Mac computer. And this is either a Mac with Intel or a Mac with Apple Silicon. So like the M1, the M2, I'm running this on an M3. And so also, if you're just curious about Start9 and you want to like get your feet wet, this is a really good way to just kind of install it and get started, and download stuff and delete stuff and play around. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. The first thing that we're going to need is a virtual machine. And this is UTM. You can go to mac.getutm.app and download this. And whenever it comes in, it's going to come in as like a DMG. So when you open it, you're just going to drag this to the applications folder and open it up there. So once you open it up, it looks something like this. Probably won't have this one in there. That was for my demo purpose. And we'll go ahead. It'll look completely empty. The next thing that we're going to do is go over to Start9's GitHub. And then once we're there, we're going to select the StartOS and then hit releases on the side. So this is the GitHub repository for StartOS. Releases is over here on this right-hand side. We'll click that. And then this is where it's really important to decide whether or not you have a macOS system that is running Intel or whether it's running Apple Silicon. So if you're confused about that and need to know which one, you can hit the Apple menu in the top and hit About This Mac, and that will tell you whether or not you have an Intel chip or an Apple Silicon chip. Apple Silicon is going to be this download right here, so arch64.iso. And then if you have Intel, it's going to be x86-64 ISO. So once you have it downloaded, you're going to hit Create New Virtual Machine inside of UTM and hit Virtualize. Say Linux. And then under the boot ISO image, we're going to choose that download for the ISO of our choosing. We'll leave the defaults the same, so 4 gigabytes, typical like CPU cores. And this is where it gets important. So if you're just starting out and you're wanting to just have fun with kind of a Start9 node, the storage option at 64 gigabytes means that it's going to not immediately use for 64 gigabytes, but that it's allotted 64 gigabytes of your hard drive, your computer's like internal hard drive, for storing the data. So the blockchain right now is like 800 gigabytes. So you're going to need more space than that if you want to run a full node. So like I said, this can, or maybe I haven't said it before, it can run also off of an external hard drive. So I would recommend going out and getting, a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte, either external SSD. So that way you can run it right there. So depending on what drive you're going to use, you want to select, like in this case, this would be a 2 terabyte external hard drive. So we want to do 1999 gigabytes. That would be 2 terabytes with like 1 gigabyte of space left over. So we'll just go ahead and say that. Just imagine we're going to buy this 2 terabyte hard drive for this. But if you're just running it for fun, again, you can just select this at like 64, and you don't need to let it use up a ton of your like hard drive space. So just imagine it's at 1999. Say continue. You can leave the name at Linux or just call it Start9. Say save and then play. So now this will run the Start9 install on the virtual machine. So if you've never installed Start9 before, this is exactly how you would do it. If you bought a computer and just plugged in like the operating system to install it, this is exactly what would happen. It does take a second, obviously. It's a computer. We'll see that disk says 2 terabytes. If you selected 64 like gigabytes like it was recommending, it would say 64 gigabytes there. We'll just say install StartOS. This doesn't take too terribly long because it's just a tiny little package that's getting installed on there. And then we'll say reboot. This does not send the full reboot command out to the system. So at this point during the install, you can power off the machine by just hitting the power button right beside like there. And it will send you this confirmation saying that there might be unsafe changes that are going to be lost. We're in a shutdown state already, so it's okay. We can just say okay. The next step is that we're going to remove that download. So the download is technically sitting inside of the virtual machine CD drive. We're going to just remove it. So say clear, and now it's empty. And we're going to run the virtual machine again, but this is now running without the installation. So now this is running the installed files that we just made. So let's get this booted up. This one takes a bit longer. And while this is going, we do need to hit this, select here, and make a password. And it's important, no one can recover this password for you, so make it something that you'll remember forever. Good deal. And then while this is initializing, I'll show you this next part. So this virtual machine is still located on the internal hard drive. Even though we allocated like 2 terabytes for it, it's still located. If we hit show and finder, you'll see it's still located on the internal hard drive. So what we need to do is we need to move this to the external hard drive, but we can't do that until everything is installed and properly functional. So let's say continue to log in. Let's type in that password, and you'll see now like this is getting like a pretty large size. That's why we want to move this over pretty soon. You know, we won't want to keep running it locally. We'll want to get it moved right after this. So let's go ahead and log in. And once you're here, you have successfully installed Start9. That first of all, is huge success. Like you've done it, but it's local. Remember, this is like for those people that really want to run this on an external hard drive. I plugged one in here, and I created a folder on it called Start9, so that way I could like just have it live on that hard drive. So let's just go ahead and say System, and come down to the bottom and say Shutdown. So shutdown sends the command again for the shutdown, but we should get a full shutdown command, and it should, stop the virtual machine. So now we can remove this from here once we copy it. We got to copy it first. We're in a shutdown state. That's the biggest thing, is we cannot copy this until we're in a shutdown state. So completely shut down, have copied it over. We need to go ahead and remove it now from here. So let's right click and let's say delete. And you'll see this is actually going to remove it from the internal hard drive. So right click, say delete, and here it goes. Booyah. And then we just drag the one that's on our external hard drive. Now we can just double click it. It opens up in UTM, and we run it, and it's no longer running from the internal hard drive. It's running from the external. So you can have your entire Start9 operating system on your external hard drive. Let's make sure this boots. I had a struggle at the last time I tried to record this where it didn't want to boot. But remember that this is a little bit of a slower hard drive than your internal disk. Typically, when you're plugging something in, it's just going to be a little bit slower. So it's not going to be able to load as quickly and efficiently as it was. But let's give this just a second and make sure that we get the device. Yep. There we go. So now all you have to do is hit Marketplace, change from the Start9 registry to the community one, and then install Bitcoin. It's that simple. Like, and if you've never used Bitcoin before, this is your chance. Most people get snagged right here whenever they install it. They're like, sweet, this is going to install and just start running like an app on my phone. And then immediately it says config, and they're like, I don't know, dude. Like, all you have to do is hit configure and save, and just save it with the default configuration. And now when you hit start, it's going to start running Bitcoin. It'll start downloading the whole blockchain. It'll start running the entire process. Now, obviously, if you're running a node and it's just on your local machine, you probably do want to change some of the configurations here, like pruning. For instance, you probably want to prune the node. So yeah, so right now it's disabled. You would want to probably make it automatic because again, your disk is going to be set for like 64 gigabytes. So anyway, I hope that helps you, give you a great run on Start 9. It helps you start just messing around with it, installing stuff, playing with different utilities, and that you can start to step up in your sovereignty. So if you enjoyed this, share it with a friend. And as always, I'm Logan. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. See ya.